Hey guys, today I'd like to share with you my updated Bystial Blue Eyes deck list since winning this OTS tournament, going 4-0. I played with the ratios a bit more before entering this big event, and I really think that the changes really helped the deck perform. In particular, we went down to 45 cards instead of 50 that I showed in the last deck profile, but you can definitely use the last video for the combos. Those are all still the same. The deck theory is still the same. So let's get into deck profile, and then I'll go through the matchups. They'll all be posted in the description box below as well. So here we got free Sage, of course, for max consistency, and to go along with we got the Piri Rice map tech, which not many decks use, but I think it's really useful in this particular list because even if we get duplicates of this, what the choke point people like to go for now, I think, is that they like to imperm Sage if they can, to try and get us off playing, getting to our Maiden into our True Light engine. So Piri Rice map's definitely helpful in that regard, because even if you open a Piri Rice map and a Sage, it's not useless because you can Piri Rice for an Everett Sage, and then if one Sage gets stopped, you can just go into your Link 1 and then get your extra normal summon to get another Sage. And because this normal summon effect's not once per turn, we can of course just add our Maiden anyway. Whereas other deck lists like the Invoke list and the Primite versions of Blue Eyes kind of suffer a weakness to that, where if you start with your Beryl and then it gets, if the Spirit gets impermed, then you can't get Sage anymore, basically. That's how we like to play as this, and it's one of the key advantages of playing a Bystial version, because of course Sage is our main normal summon and we really want to resolve this, whereas the other versions have other normal summons too. So we have free Maiden, of course, always had to run free. Still on free Wishes, and this is pretty much it for the Blue Eyes part of the starters. Of course we want max consistency, even though we cut down some cards. For the Bystial engine, we're still pretty high on this. We did make a cut though. Free Bystial Rebellion, a Magnum Heart of course, free Serena, free Drew Swim, and just 2 Bull Drake. I figure it's the one worth cutting down on. It does give you third interruption if you say open 2 Bystials including it, because you can tribute on the opponent's turn to tribute a guy on the other opponent's turn to get rid of one of their extra X summons and banish it. Of course, 1 regain 2. But you can definitely side out Bystials in a matchup where it doesn't really matter. So I figure it's still worth going for. And we have, of course, our bricks, but they're all very necessary. The 1 Neo Kaiser Seahorse. We have, of course, our Blue Eyes White Dragon. Having 1 in this version of the deck is really not a choke point, which is one of the really good advantages, is that we're cutting down on the brick by not playing 2 Blue Eyes instead of 2, which is necessary for the Primate version. We play a Raw, of course, a Mausoleum, and Ultimate Fusion. Ultimate Fusion is probably MVP of the event, honestly, because it came up so much for just spot removal. And what this has an advantage over Majesty, the trap card, in terms of being able to be a board breaker instead of just another layer of interruption. And it's definitely worth playing this if your version only plays 1 Blue Eyes, because you get 1 pop with either Majesty or Ultimate Fusion anyway. The interaction you want to do is that you have True Light set up, and you do Chainlink 1 Ultimate Fusion, and then Chainlink 2 True Light to reborn a Blue Eyes, and then when the chain resolves, you have Blue Eyes on your board that you can fuse with this, and then you can still trigger Maiden afterwards, I believe, to summon itself back from the graveyard from reborning a Blue Eyes. And our Dragon Link bricks, still in here, Samsara Dragon and Dragon Ravine. Over 4 rounds, this kind of package came up a fair bit for utility use, and it enabled the full combo a couple of times. So yeah, really good. Never really bricked on it, to be honest. So I think it's still definitely worth including it in this version. Please refer to the previous video if you want to see the combos involving this. But yeah, what else? Since we've got everything laid out here, I figure I'd talk about the matchups. So we have the first round was against True Draco. That was a 2-1 result. So I won game 1 from doing the full combo. You can check out the combo in the last video, of course. And it's just too many interruptions, too much follow-up with things like Regained, of course. Really doing a lot of legwork. And yeah, and then game 2 I had to like at the start I realized that the opponent didn't have an extra deck, so they were on the skill drain Monarch's Erupt kind of card, and in hindsight, I messed up because I should have used Ultimate Fusion, how I said, but it was the first round, so kind of like nervous, maybe made some misplays, but instead what I should have done is that I think I should have searched Ultimate Fusion off Wishes, and I realized that if you search True Light to search Ultimate Fusion, then you can't actually use it because it's set, and because quick play you can't activate it that turn. So I really need the removal on my own turn when dealing with the skill drain. So that's something to note if you're up against a Floodgatey type of deck. You know, definitely add this off of this, and then maybe True Light can set this one because it's a normal spell. We can activate it at the same turn. So yeah, I lost game 2 against the True Draco, just scooping it because time was getting low, and then game 3 I went first. I started in a bit of a spoiler, but probably MVP in the side deck was Solemn Strike. I added that instead of Dragon's Bind, and yeah, so yeah, Solemn Strike, honestly, so good going first. Just in this format, you see it in a lot of regional deck lists, and it just like it was so punishing for the True Draco summons because they're a tribute summon, and removing the body as well as their like effect to gain advantage really did a lot of work in that. And in terms of the other matchups, we had a Tenpai Bystial Buster Blader list, which of course, like Buster Blader, pretty scary because we're on dragons, but we 2-0'd that because our things like we have a lot of big bodies that can stop the Tenpai. You can kind of backbait out the opponent's Bystials by using your own Bystial, and then things like Maiden can resolve. So do keep that in mind, and of course you get to keep the Bystial in hand for the next turn to interrupt the opponent. And you have to be careful with True Light getting popped with things like Quibelt, but the opponent I think misplayed a bit in terms of game 2, but I'm sure we'd be fine in the matchup. Game 3 was against Labyrinth, and of course we have so many Bystials, it did a lot of work. Though it was just a bit of a high roll of the game for me as well. So 2-0'd it within 25 minutes, I think, just from having a combination of I think it was like they had Big Welcome, Ariaz, and Ariana, and we drew like an exact perfect counter because we had Veiler for the Ariana. The Big Welcome was stopped with Ash Blossom, and then the Ariaz was stopped with a Bystial. But you know, we're running so many like non-engine because of the Bystials. If you treat the Bystial as non-engine, then you know you're going to get those hands sometimes. And the last matchup was against Mitsurugi Rryzeal. Didn't draw any hand traps game 1, so of course lost game 1 to the combo. And then game 2 we went first, kind of won in the grind, and game 3 we won thanks to a tech card in the extra deck, which I'll get to yeah, in a bit. So yeah, cutting down to 45. Yeah, really much better than 50, of course, because even though we have these bricks, we still want to be able to draw our good cards and be able to see our side engine. But yeah, that's kind of the engine part of the main deck. We then have our non-engine, which is just 3 Veiler, 3 Ash, 3 Nib, 3 Veiler, and 1 Corby. So we kind of cut down on this a bit as well to make it 45. Because basically cutting talents, because I didn't notice that talents wasn't like a big card in other regional topping lists in this format. And yeah, I never really missed it. Having a combination of hand traps is way better. And so Corby just had so many things as well. So just I feel like it's still necessary. Half of these lists you see play Corby either in the main or side. Or I mean like, yeah, half of them main it, half of them side it. So I chose to main it. Yeah, and so extra decks change a fair bit. So of course we have our 1 Disparter, which is of course really good for the combo. We have 1 Spirit Dragon, 1 Ultimate, and 1 White Storm. Other Blue Eyes lists are running bigger synchro package. I never really missed any of the synchros. This is good to include for back row removal. Of course you can hard make it even if you've already used your Spirit Dragon. Ultimate Spirit has like a big 4k body, so against in the Tenpai matchup, if you get rid of the Sangan summoning, they can only get up to 3k, so it's really good to keep that in mind. And then it's really hard for them to out your board unless they manage to get rid of True Light, which is probably what you'll expect. But you can deal with it, like things like seals can bounce back True Light as well in this list. So it's very manageable. So yeah, that ratio seemed fine. We have 2 Link 1 spirits. 2 you go through in the combo, so it is necessary really to play 2 or maybe even 3 if you want to consider it. 3 Hieratic Seals, 2 is required for the combo. And we play 1 Romulus, of course, combo piece, and 1 Atomb, another combo piece, also just really good utility. If you just like have 2 Bystials on board, it makes a push by itself, which is really nice, baits out hand traps. The Blue Eyes Fusions, which you'll pretty much see in every list. This is to equip off wishes, this is to, actually in typical Blue Eyes list you might see people hard make it more. In this list you really want to save it for Ultimate Fusion, unless you've already burned Ultimate Fusion. So yeah, keep that in mind. And then this is what won the round 4 for me. Goblin's Crazy Beast, because this is, if you're playing a high number of Bystials, like in Malice for example, I recommend trying this guy out. He's got like card effect protection, he's got like an insane effect to like detach 2 materials from each from a monster on board and spin back attach a spell trap. So I use this to attach Cross, and yeah, just a big body to attack over stuff as well. And he has a reborn effect too. So really great card. And then we have the 1 Typhon, and instead of SP I'm playing Liner this time, which didn't come up, but it could do in theory, particularly for taking Detonator in a grindy game state. So yeah, slight update on the extra deck. And then of course the side deck, this changed a fair bit as well, because well, of course we've got the Freelancier, mainstay of the format. And then for this I was debating ratios between Phantasme and Chaos Hunter, because Phantasme is really good against link decks. You know, you put this in against the Blue Eyes Mirror, for example. You know, Malice, but then of course Malice is harder hit by Chaos Hunter, but Chaos Hunter hits less decks in general, so it has less coverage. So I'd settle on a 2-2 ratio for now. Phantasme has a lot of Dragon synergy too in this deck, so didn't come too much to the event. I didn't get any Malice matchups, so that's partly why, but it's good to have these in anyway. Free draw. I'd love to draw this against the Mitsurugi Rryzeal deck, but I did side it in, but just didn't see it. There's 1 Duster. I don't think I ever saw it, but you know, you had to play it. Too good not to play right now. It's things like Rryzeal Cross on strike. We have the 1 Branded Beast, which I put in the more grindy game matchups when I go first, because if regained gets wiped, then you want to reset it on your follow-up. And yeah, 3 Solemn Strike, MVP of the extra deck, side deck, because yeah, it just trades 1 for 1. I didn't realize how powerful this card is. I replaced Dragon's Bind, because in testing Dragon's Bind was kind of underwhelming for me, and so yeah, I highly recommend trying this card out. Lots of decks play it. But yeah, that's it for my update. Yeah, I hope you enjoy trying this updated deck list out. I know there's some requests to cut it down to a lower deck count, and I think it performs really well now. Alright, cheers, bye.